Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hi there, my name is Daniel. I'm from Transplant Trailer Sales. I'm going to be taking you through your 2024 Wildwood 28Dbud. We're just going to start off in the back corner of the bumper here. If you take this cap off, you will notice this is where you hide your sewer hose. Just slides out of the bumper. So, taking note of those two ears there, those are going to be the same two ears that hook up to your sewer outlet. I'll show you that in a second. We do keep the sewer hose located with the back bumper here just to keep the smell out of the unit. This cap just slides into place. Right next to that, you do have your power cord. Just take note of that ear there. It's going to line up with that prong on this side. Just line that up. Plugs into place. Give it that 8th turn to lock it in. And you got your threaded collar to really lock that down. If you follow that back, you will come to a standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this. If they don't, or if you're at home and you want to run your fridge, we do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keeping in mind you are going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like an air conditioner. Also, you do have 2 lights up here, a blue light and a red light. With the blue light on, that means you do have successful power. If the red light were to come on, that means there is an issue with your power supply. Right up here, you do have your cable satellite inlets, as well as your city water connection, which if you're at a site with service, you can plug a garden hose up to here, and there's no need to run your water pump. This will pressurize your lines. And then right next to that is your black tank flush. So whenever you have your sewer connected, let's say your monitor panel is reading 1/3 to 2/3 or whatever it happens to be, and you know for a fact it's empty, you can just give that black tank a flush by hooking up a garden hose to this while your black tank's open and the sewer's connected. It'll flush out that tank. Also helps keep the odor down inside that tank. That being said, this is your sewer outlet. The way that works, you just give that a slide, taking note of those ears there, line up with the ears, or with the little knobs on the outlet, and it just locks into place. You got your black valve and your gray valve. Your gray valve is going to be your cleanest water, which is coming from your sinks and showers. Your black valve is going to be your dirtiest water, which is filled from your toilets. So you are always going to want to try and empty your black tank first, and then empty your gray tank. Just tries to keeps the debris and the odor out of the hose a little bit more. A little bit forward here, we do have your low point drains. Let's say you're leaving the unit for a while, you don't want the water inside the lines to go stale or stagnant. You just crack these guys open and it will drain whatever water you have inside the system out, allowing for the lines to be empty. Right here, as well as all 4 corners of the unit, you do have stabilizer jacks. The way that works is on this system here, you do have this little safety chain that you have to unlatch first, just so that if there's a failure with the jack system, they don't go dragging on the ground. You unhook that. You'll hook up the tool that I'm going to show you in the front compartment to this bolt here. Run that to the ground. Once the foot touches the ground, you are just going to give it another 1/4 to 1/8 turn just to firm it up. And it's just going to take any bounce or sway that you see we have in the unit right now. Right up at the top of the unit here, you are pre-mounted for a Lippert stair system to get up onto your roof. Inside this side of the front compartment is where you're going to find your 25-foot water hose with that 15 amp park adapter I was telling you about. Also keeping a note with this storage area that your VersaTilt bed, the system for it is just right there. So whenever you are piling stuff in here, just being mindful of that you don't rip those wires or knock that mount loose. At the front of the unit, you do have a battery disconnect. So with that battery disconnect on, the battery is connected. With the battery disconnect off, the battery is disconnected. And with that, you can pull this key out if you were to want to lock out the battery from being connected back to the unit. Inside this black box here, this is where we hose your battery. Just keep a note of these cable ends. Underneath these covers here is 2 propane tanks. Normally, everyday use, you could just pop these little threaded knobs off. Just pop this open, you get access to tanks to turn on or off. Quick and easy. For the purpose of this video, I will just slide this off. You have your 2 barbecue style propane tanks, regulator right up front here. You get both connected at the same time. You can turn them both on. This is allowing the flow of propane to the unit. Propane is now on. Right up front, you do have your tongue jack. You got your power button. Pushing that down turns it on. Turns your light on. Down is down, up is up. Keeping in mind, just take note of this little rubber cap up here. If you take a little flathead screwdriver and pop that open, it will give you an access to a manual override, which we do include the tool for in the front compartment that I'll show you in a second. That's where you will use that though. And in this side of the compartment, you do have a light on this side, so you hit that switch, it's just on its own little center push button, turns that light on, and just velcroed to the wall here. You do have your stabilizer jack tool to run them up and down, as well as your front tongue jack manual override. Inside this compartment here, you do get your fridge with your little grill area. Just keeping note, it does say this is just like a grease trap. Take note of that sticker. It says it's hot, so just make sure you always let that cool down before you go grabbing it. You got your safety latch here. You pull that up, you'll be able to slide this on up, giving you access to your griddle. The way that works is you have this hose here that connects to this side. It's just you pull back on the collar, hooks into place, not going anywhere. This end goes down underneath the trailer and just hooks up to the propane quick connect. Take note of the dust cap that's on here. You are always going to want to put that on whenever you're not using this unit. To use this collar, this is a valve that controls the flow of propane. With this closed, there's no propane, so it'll allow you to open and close it to connect your hose. Opening it this way opens the flow of propane to the line. Added safety measure, you can't disconnect the line with the flow of propane open. You now have propane flowing to this griddle here, and to turn it on, you do just have to just get the air out of the lines, and there we go. Oh, didn't go that time. Just be patient, because it does take a second for these to get going sometimes. Okay, and there we are, it's lit. So now that is lit, turn it off. Just do the same thing, turning that off. And whenever you're done using it, just closing that flow of propane and disconnecting the line and putting the dust cap back on. And just tucking that inside behind this here. And you can close this back on up. You also do get a mini fridge in here. Just keep it in mind, this mini fridge is only going to work when you're hooked up to shore power. Also stored inside the mini fridge here, you have this little nice garden hose end. Open up this flap, you do have a little quick connect. Just taking note of those black knobs here. Lines up the black knobs on the cutouts in there. Give that a turn, and you're now hooked up, and you'll be able to use cold water only. That's all that's in this compartment here. Keep a note of this is for your range hood. You are going to want to be running that range hood whenever you're using the oven inside. Just always making sure that you're just opening up that flap. They have this flap here just so if you're traveling with the unit, you can snap it down closed, and it's not going to allow any dust to get inside the unit. Right down below that, you will see that your furnace exhaust is right on this side here underneath your awning. So whenever you're running the furnace, This is going to be blowing out hot air, so you're going to want to make sure you don't have that blocked. You got a 110 outlet, as well as a cable satellite outlet, and you do have a TV battery right here. So if you were to want to mount a TV on the wall here, you can do so. This is where you would fill your fresh water tank if you were using it. Put your garden hose up here, fill it up, it'll start spraying out once it's full, and you're good to go. To drain that fresh water tank, the valve is just right behind this back tire here. Pull that valve open, it's going to drain any water that's left in the tank out. Right here is where you're going to find your Suburban hot water heater access port. We do just have the main power supply off, as this winter's winterized currently. If this was, it was summerized, the main switch would be on, and there's a panel inside, which I'm going to show you in a bit. But before you do ever go to fire this up for the first time, just always giving this valve a little pull to make sure that shot of water comes out, letting you know that there is water inside the system. Around back of the unit, you do have another exterior shower. It's got a nice little swivel head, and this one does have hot and cold water, not just cold water like the other one. And up at the top, you are going to notice you are pre-wired for an observation camera. Get inside the unit, you have this assist panel. You just got to push that up, fold it 90 degrees, it's going to lock into place. You're going to open up the door, and inside you will have your stair set. Just keeping note of these two little buttons on each side. You can adjust these legs for your campsite needs. You can either extend them or retract them. To get those stairs down, you just pull that safety latch, bring these stairs down, and you can take a step on inside the unit. Just take a note on your left, that is your fire extinguisher. It's going to be just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. Up on the wall here, you do have your lights. Your main light switch is this dimmer switch. So if you hit that button once, it's going to turn them on or off. If you hit that button on and then you hold it, the lights will go from dark or from super bright to dim. Whenever you find a setting you like, you can just let off, and that's where it's going to stay. And they'll hold that for the whole time. To get your slide out, there's just this button here. You're gonna hit that button down, make it start making its way out. Our situation today, we do not have enough room to fully bring the slide out, but you're gonna know that slide out's fully extended when you hear the whines and the clicks of the motor. Unfortunately, we're not gonna get that far today just because of space. Okay, so that slide out is as far out as I can get it. Right next to that, you do have your awning button. So you hit that button down, the awning's going to start making its way out. You know that awning's fully extended once you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. We also aren't going to be able to get the awning fully extended today, but I will just be able to show you that you can take any arm, front or rear, if it starts raining, and pull this down, pull the arm down. It's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now, if you do like that angle better, you can do the same thing to the back arm, and it's going to allow for more shade as well. But always making sure that you just extend these arms back to their straight position whenever you go to bring the awning in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. Bring the awning in, you just got to push the button up. Awning's going to start making its way in. Once it is in, it's just going to, whenever it's fully in, the motor will just cut out. There you go, fully in. Right up from there, you do have your water pump switch. You hit that switch on, it's gonna turn your water pump on, which draws from your fresh tank. And then you do have two light switches as well. The one on the left does the light above the slide out, the little accent light. And the one on the right does your awning LED. And right above that, you do have your 30 amp solar controller. We don't have any batteries hooked up in this unit right now, so I'm not going to be able to exactly show you exactly what you can do with this. There's not much you have to worry about this. This is pretty much just a monitor system to tell you what's going on, and you do get to pick between what kind of batteries you have. We'll start off in the bedroom. Just open up this door. Light switch is just on your left. You do have a versatile bed in this unit, so if you hit that button up, the bed will start folding its way up. If you hit the button down, the button starts coming down. You do have sleep app access on both sides of the bed. You also have 2 regular plugins and 2 USB plugins on both sides of the bed. And on this side of the bed, it does have a little laundry chute, which is in your front, which ends up in your front compartment. This is a fire exit on this side of the bed. The way that works is you're just going to undo this. That window is going to slide open, and you're just going to take this screen and slide it, and you can hop on out. Going back into the main living space, this is your little entertainment center. You got your Furrion stereo. That's going to be just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there, other than you got zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is going to be your interior speakers. Zone 2 will be your exterior speakers. You have storage on both sides. You are pre-wired for Wi-Fi if you were to want to get that. And right here you do have your cable satellite outlets, as well as this little button next to it. What that little button is going to do, you're going to hit that button. It's going to turn on that green light. That's just letting you know that you're turning your antenna on the roof. I typically leave this on all the time because it does improve radio frequency, but that's totally up to you. You got your fireplace below that. That's pretty simple. You got your power button far right. Right next to that, you can change your flame color. And next to that, you can change your light colors. And then you have your low heat option and your high heat option. And then just a timer next to that. So you can go from anywhere from 30 minutes to 9 hours. And then just the power button to turn it off again. All the blinds in the unit are going to work kind of the same way. They're just going to kind of sit where you leave them. Give it one little tug to bring them back up open. Lights inside the unit also do have their own center push buttons, so you can turn whatever lights on and off as you desire if you don't want them all on. Inside the kitchen area here, you got your sink with hot and cold water. Right underneath the fridge here is where you have your antifreeze inlet. So you can pop those 2 little screws out. This cover is going to come off, and you're going to give you access to your water pump with your bypass valve. For the stove, keep in note that the cover that goes over it is glass, so just be gentle whenever you're taking it up or down. Whenever you're running this stove, it does run off propane, so you are just going to want to run that exhaust fan, getting the fumes out of the unit. To get this to light, you just got to turn this switch on. Take that valve, turn it to the light option, hit it with the sparker, it fires right on up. Now, sometimes it can take a second if you haven't been to the unit for a while, because it's just got to clear all the air out of the lines. To fire up the oven, it's kind of the same deal, except you got to hit that switch down to turn the oven light on. There's going to be a little gas fitting down there. You're going to take your far right knob, turn it to that light option, hit it with the sparker, and that pilot light comes on. This time we got lucky, it fired up right away. Sometimes it can take a few minutes just to clear all the air out of the lines, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't work within the first few times. And then once that pilot light is lit for a few seconds, you just turn it up to your desired temperature, and it should fire right up. This is your Furrion fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge only. It's only going to run on 12-volt power, so whenever you're plugged in or hooked up to your tow vehicle, it'll be on, or if you have battery power. This is a pretty cool fridge. because it does have its own little charcoal filter. That's just going to help eliminate odors. These are replaceable. You can order them from Purion, I believe. There may be other places you can order them, like here. And then right next to that, you do just have your controls for the fridge. Right now it's currently off, and from off, it just gets colder and colder, and then you will notice that it does say off grid. Let's say you're camping without power, you're only running on battery power. The two off grid options are going to be your most, they say, the most battery efficient options. That's about it for that. The furnace and the stove do run off propane inside this unit. So we do have a LP detector down here. If that guy ever starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply propane to the unit and open up all the windows to air it out. Inside this closet, you just have some nice storage. In the bed area, you do have USBs top and bottom, as well as their own lights on their own center push buttons. Inside this little sink area is where your thermostat for your air conditioner and furnace are. And you do also have your main GFI plug next to that. The way that GFI plug works is you got test on the bottom, reset on the top. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first thing I would check. I just hit that reset button, make sure nothing's tripped. The way your thermostat works is you're gonna hit that button once, it's gonna illuminate itself. You hit it again, and you're gonna go into your modes. So you got off, cool, and heat. And then you have cool plus heat. So cool plus heat is you're going to set this thermostat to a certain temperature, and as long as your propane's on, it'll kick on the furnace as needed, and it'll kick on the air conditioner as needed. You can also hit this button and you can go into your fan. So you got high and low settings for that. And then just with it not pushing the button, you can turn your room temperature up or down as soon as you get into one of the options here. See, you got that set to, so you can set it to whatever temperature you'd like. And then to turn it off, you just got to hit it again and go to off, off. And now at your air conditioner, you do have two ways you can run it. You can open up these louvers, and what that's going to do is it's just going to dump all its air into the living space. So whenever you first get to the campsite, I do recommend doing that. Cool off the main living space. And then you could just close these louvers, and it's going to move all its air through its ducting in the ceiling, through the ceiling portals. The heater does move all its air through floor portals in the floor. Inside the bathroom here, you do have your toilet. You got a light switch on the left, and then you have your controller for your hot water. The way that works is if your switch was on, you could turn this system on or off. They do say it is on-demand hot water, and you get longer hot water. This button here is just going to turn it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and then you can just change your settings, your temperature settings up and down to wherever you would like it. Inside the shower, it's going to be just like home. You got a hot and cold water tap, as well as a head up top that is a swivel head. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.